The Mystery of Zhang Gong. Chapter 19. Zhang Ping returned to his residence. After he took a bath, he laid down and fell asleep. The next day, he walked to the lake at the capital's south. In previous years, this lake was called Kaiyutang Lake. 6 years ago, after Chen Zishang's suicide by throwing himself into the lake, the name was changed to Zike Lake. There was also a memorial hall dedicated to palace graduate Chen. The imperial court had conferred Chen Zishang a posthumous title of palace graduate and set up the memorial hall for offerings. Note: Zike Lake, 11 means pity and Cai means talent. The memorial hall's stairway was smooth and the copper pieces nailed onto the threshold were all well polished. The incense smokes curled within the memorial hall. In the seat of honor, Chen Zishang's statue wore the palace graduate attire and held a scroll in his hand, appearing auspicious and peaceful. Embedded on the side wall were 2 stone slabs. Carved into one of them were inscriptions: Chen Zishang was a talent from Jiangxi with remarkable gifts. Unfortunately, he was killed by crafty villains. The imperial court lost a person of outstanding ability. It seems such talent shouldn't be wandering in the mortal world. The person who carved this inscription turned out to be the former prime minister, the current grand tutor Yun Tang. Carved into the other stone was the plum blossom poem Chen Zishang had been unjustly accused for. Under the statue's base was a table. Beside the table sat an old Daoist priest. Before him were joss sticks, joss papers, and such. He dozed off with half-closed eyes. Zhang Ping looked at the statue and 2 stone slabs for quite a while before he walked to the table. 2. Daozang, I'm here to burn incense. Note: Daozang, an honorific used on Daoist priests. The old Daoist raised his eyelids. There are 20 wen per bundle, 18 wen per bundle, and 15 wen per bundle. Which do you want? Zhang Ping pulled out a few copper coins from his sleeve. I'd like to burn only 3 Sanka incense sticks. The old Daoist drew out 3 incense sticks. 6 wen. Zhang Ping gazed at the 3 incense sticks and said, Daozang, the cheapest incense only cost 15 wen per bundle. Why are you giving this student the most expensive ones, where 3 sticks need 6 wen? The old Daoist looked impatient. There's only this kind of Sanka incense, 1 price. You're a scholar, in any case, you're still wearing a Changshan, so why are you bargaining for some incense sticks? Zhang Ping cupped his hands. This student is poor. I hope Daozang can sympathize. The old Daoist waved his hand. Whatever. He drew out 3 incense sticks from the cheapest bundle and threw them onto the table. 3 wen. It can't go any cheaper. Zhang Ping held the incense sticks in his hand, yet his eyes cast glances towards the other 2 types of bundles, hesitant. Since this student came to pray, should I use better incense sticks to appear more sincere? He touched the incense sticks from the 18 wen bundle before finally putting down 6 wen. This student should use the most expensive one. The old Daoist rolled his eyes and accepted the 6 wen coins. Zhang Ping held the 3 incense sticks and lit them. He bowed and paid his respects towards Chen Zishang's statue before inserting the incense sticks into the incense burner. Then, he paced towards the old Daoist's table again. Daozang, are there brushes and ink in this memorial hall? This student wants to compose a poem to express my grief. The old Daoist tucked his hands within his sleeves. No writing is allowed on the memorial hall's walls. If you want to write a poem, then go back home. Zhang Ping refused to give up. Writing mottos is allowed for fond recallings even in ancient temples, so why can't I do the same here? Daozang is too unreasonable. The old Daoist sneered. If you want reason, then go to court. I'm just here to guard this memorial hall. Look at the memorial hall's inner and exterior walls, are they clean? If someone secretly wrote on them, this poor Daoist will have to remove them and flatten the wall surfaces again. Not letting you write is to not let you uselessly waste effort. Zhang Ping silently paced away towards the wall. He took a piece of paper from his sleeve and pressed it against one of the wall's stone slabs before also taking out a lump of graphite. The old deist leapt up. "Tut! What are you doing?" Zhang Ping solemnly replied, "This student wants to make rubbings from Grand Tutor Yun's essay and this poem, to bring them back home and learn more from them." Note: rubbings, also known as ink squeezes. A method used to make multiple copies of inscribed records, where the inscriptions are printed onto a piece of paper with ink. The old deist bitterly said, "This poor deist has been guarding this memorial hall for many years, yet I've never encountered anything more troublesome than you. 10 When, after you've finished making the rubbings, leave immediately." Zhang Ping hesitatingly asked, "How about 8 When? This student is poor. Unspecified currency. Zhang Ping walked out of the memorial hall with 2 pages of rubbings. He strolled around the lake. The lake's pavilion had been reconstructed into the memorial hall, so a small pavilion was constructed on the other side of the lake called Zayud Pavilion. The night Mali An was murdered, Chen Zhou, Han Huan, and Lu Zonghe were drinking in that pavilion. Zhang Ping walked to the pavilion and saw someone standing within, their hands clasped behind their back. On the stone table beside them was an hourglass. He also caught a glimpse of Zhang Ping and couldn't help but frown slightly. Zhang Ping bowed in greeting. "Assistant Minister." Wang Yan narrowed his eyes on him. "You want to right a wrong for Chen Zhou?" Zhang Ping said, "This student is just casually walking around." Wang Yan snorted and no longer paid any mind to him. From a distance, a constable was pantingly running towards the pavilion. He kneeled by the pavilion with rapid breaths, gasping for air. Wang Yan muttered to himself irresolutely as he looked at the hourglass on the table. Zhang Ping said, "Assistant Minister, if we don't ride a horse, it takes approximately 45 minutes to get to this lake from Xiaohazi Lane where Chen Zhou and I live. It takes 2 hours to arrive at this lake from Mali An's Zuyan Lane. Riding a horse would cut that time down by half." Wang Yan coldly said, "Piss off. Unspecified currency. Zhang Ping left the lake and returned to his residence. He made a pot of braised noodles and sent them to Chen Zhou. Chen Zhou lamented how they were interrogated by Assistant Minister Wang yesterday. Wang Yan forcibly asked them why they drank by the lake. Chen Zizhang had committed suicide. Chen Zhou had wept. Why else but drinking by the lake felt more appropriate considering their mood at that time. Before the exam, they were afraid of bringing bad luck, so they didn't dare approach the lake. After they failed the exam, they went to drink there, yet bad luck still followed them back. Han Huan and Lu Zonghe both held the braised noodles and sighed tearfully. Unspecified currency. After he left the prison, Zhang Ping arrived outside that day's examination venue and lingered for a while. The corvée standing guard there said to him, "Miscellaneous personnel are not allowed to get close, hurry up and leave." Zhang Ping said, "This student just wants to go in and take a look. Could you help accommodate?" The corvée replied, "It's because of people like you we have to stand guard here every day, we can't even go back at night. Even if you look at the examination rooms 10 more times, you still failed. Come back 3 years later." Zhang Ping was shooed away. He continued to wander at the opposite side of the street. After a while, he saw a blue-clothed sedan chair exit from the door and someone wearing a small minister's attire get into it. Then, the sedan chair swayed towards the capital's north. Zhang Ping sat at a wonton stall beside the street and ordered a bowl of wontons. He asked the stall owner, who was the lord who just left. The stall owner laughed. "As a scholar who has stayed in the capital for so long, you can't even distinguish between the different minister attires. The one who just left is the examination hall superior, Lord Sun. Although he isn't a real minister, even a magistrate can't compare to him." Zhang Ping asked, "He doesn't seem easy to meet." The stall owner sized him up a few glances and said, "It's hard for ordinary people. This Lord Sun has an uncle who works as a steward for the Ministry of Rights, Assistant Minister Lan. He doesn't accommodate easily for ordinary people." Zhang Ping nodded before lowering his head to silently eat his wontons. Unspecified currency. Night fell. Lan Ju was returning home from the yamen, when his sedan chair arrived by his residence's entrance. A young servant outside said, "Master, the shabby man who delivered zongzi last time has come again. Do you want me to shoo him away?" Lan Ju lightly replied, "Let him follow in." Lan Ju entered his residence and changed out of his minister's attire. When he arrived at the side hall, Zhang Ping was at the center of the hall. He cupped his hands in greeting. "This student greets Lord Lan." Lan Ju nodded slightly and pointed to a side seat. "There's no need to be so reserved. Sit." Only after he sat on the seat of honor did Zhang Ping himself take a seat. As a servant girl poured tea, Lan Ju said, "For what reason did you come to find me? You may speak forthrightly." Zhang Ping lowered his eyelids and asked, "This student wants to ask Lord Lan whether there are any vacant accounting positions at your home." Lan Ju couldn't refrain from laughing. "You didn't want to come over that day, so the accountant's office already found someone else. Right now, there's only a shortage in the kitchen. Whatever should we do?" Zhang Ping raised his eyes and looked at him. "This student can cook." Lan Ju smiled. "I know you can cook, but kitchens shouldn't be for scholars to enter. I won't dirty you like this either. How about this? My son, Lan Hui, is naughty and mischievous. A guest teacher can't control him. Help Wu Shixin for a few days first while I help you arrange other matters. Is this all right?" Zhang Ping stood up and bowed. "Thank you, Lord Lan." Lan Ju spoke up again, "If it weren't for your rigid handwriting and learning, it would have been possible for you to directly teach Hui. No matter if you're studying or handling other matters, being a little more flexible is beneficial." Zhang Ping lowered his head. "This student thanks Lord Ian's teaching." His voice was still rigid. Lan Ju smiled slightly. "Go back home and pack your things. You can move in anytime." Unspecified currency. Zhang Ping returned to his residence and packed his clothing and personal items. The next day, he moved into Lan Ju's residence. Before leaving to the yamen, Lan Ju had already given the steward a heads up. Steward's son amicably led him to the prepared side room and even brought over a tailor to measure his body and make a new robe. Lan Hui's guest teacher, Wu Shixin, was 3 or 4 years older than Zhang Ping and from the south. He was fair and clear with an extremely good temper. Teaching Lan Hui didn't bring too much work anyway, so he let Zhang Ping sort out Lan Hui's homework. Wu Shixin led Zhang Ping to see Lan Hui. Both Lan father and son were born with extreme beauty, but Lan Hui didn't look similar to Lan Ju. On the contrary, he had more similarities with Lu Tong Ai, who Zhang Ping happened to meet once. Lan Hui sized up Zhang Ping before disinterestedly burying his head into his book again. Wu Shixin began a lecture about books and he weakly listened. The pages of his book were barely flipped. After one lesson was done, Wu Shixin quietly told Zhang Ping that young Master Hui encountered a ghost a few days ago at the Lu residence and he hadn't been very spirited lately. Blues and purples would often appear on his body as well. It was truly very strange. Wu Shixin went to the lavatory and had Zhang Ping watch over Lan Hui doing his homework. Lan Hui rested his upper body on the table as he scribbled randomly. Zhang Ping held his hand and straightened his brush-holding position. Practicing martial arts requires steady progress. If you're too eager for success, it's easy to become possessed by the devil. Lan Hui's hand trembled and he abruptly raised his head to look at him. "How do you know?" Zhang Ping's gaze lightly swept over his red, swollen hands and the bruises exposed under his cuffs. He didn't answer. Instead, he stared into Lan Hui's eyes, where dark circles hung below. Practicing your inner strength overnight is further undesirable. Your spirit will be lacking and you'll gain no achievements. Lan Hui blinked and grabbed his sleeve. Don't tell my dad." Zhang Ping patted his head. "Don't stay up all night. Split bricks and practice." 5. Qinggong. Lan Hui immediately nodded his head. Note: Qinggong. In wuxia fiction, Qinggong is a technique where characters can move swiftly and lightly at lightning speed, but in truth, it's just a training technique for jumping off vertical surfaces. Unspecified currency. At night, when Lan Zhu returned to his residence, he found Lan Hui was quite willing to have another Zhangping teach him. He couldn't help but feel surprised. After he had dinner and took a bath, Lan Zhu took a walk in the back garden and heard faint chattery behind the fake mountain. It vaguely sounded like steward's son sighing. Your circumstance is indeed pitiful, but if you pay respects within the residence and master knows about it, your job will be gone. No matter. I have a nephew who works in the examination hall. I'll see if he can take you in. Note: fake mountains. In ancient China, many rich or noble families had fake mountains as decoration in their back gardens. It may have been from real mountains or man-made. Another voice replied gratefully, "Thank you very much, Uncle Sunday." It turned out to be Zhangping. Lan Zhu silently made a detour back to the small hall. After 2 cups of tea, he called someone to bring Zhangping over. After the screen was pushed aside, he smiled. "I once said you were rigid. It seems I misunderstood you. To investigate a case, you even found a way to enter my residence." Zhangping stood with lowered eyelids, silent. Lan Zhu's eyebrows jumped up. "Where's all that flexibility you used to coax steward's son? Which ancestor in your family do you need to pay respects to at the examination hall?" Zhangping replied with a stuffy voice, "This student does not dare deceive my lord. This student wants to know the true culprit behind Ma Lian's murder, which is why I want to enter the examination hall and have a look." Lan Zhu put aside the teacup. "The Ministry of Justice is currently investigating Ma Lian's case. It's fine if you don't believe in Wang Yan and want to investigate for yourself, but I remember that Ma Lian was murdered by a vendetta. What does this have to do with the examination hall?" Zhangping replied, "There's one thing this student feels strange about. That day, when we entered the examination hall, Ma Lian drew the 14th exam room and began arguing with the supervisor. He said because a person once died within the exam room, it was inauspicious, so he wanted to change. This wasn't in line with his usual behavior. According to Ma Lian's usual behavior, it was impossible for him to offend the supervisor. This student feels it was as if he wanted to tell someone he was in the 14th exam room." Lan Zhu said, "You're suspecting he'd colluded with someone to cheat in advance? If he really wanted to cheat, he had to have gone through with the supervisor. Even if he didn't go through, the person who helped him cheat must have had the ability to get him the exam room number. Why bother doing more than required?" Zhangping was silent. Lan Zhu took a sip of his tea before Zhangping responded, "During the exam, someone was crying in the empty exam room across mine. The examinee in exam room 356 suffered from epilepsy the next day." The corners of Lan Zhu's lips curled up. "What you're trying to say is that the examinee suffered from epilepsy because he got frightened by a ghost?" Zhangping confidently answered, "It wasn't a ghost." Lan Zhu moved around the tea leaves. "No matter. If you're really so idle as to want to investigate a case, then help me with a favor. Huier encountered a ghost, you may have heard of this, that was caused by a brush pot in Lord Liu's residence. Tomorrow, help me go to Lingjia Temple and ask the abbot which talisman Lord Liu requested from him. I'd also like to request a set. Unspecified currency. Wang Yan had been going through dossiers in the Yamen until night. Suddenly, one of his subordinates came in to report, "Assistant Minister, Brother Ling is here." The sound of footsteps transmitted from the outside. Sure enough, Wang Xian's laughter came in. "Brother, for your official business you're not even coming back home. Sister-in-law's even suspecting you've raised a small singer outside and had me come to drag you home." Note: raised a small singer. This refers to singer girls in high-end brothels where the prostitutes don't sell their bodies and instead, sell their skills, e.g. instrument playing, dancing, singing. Many ladies in these kinds of brothels are also known for their scholarly knowledge in poetry, war strategies, etc. They were widely admired by great historical figures, e.g. Li Bai, especially during the Tang dynasty. The more skilled they are, the harder it is for clients to meet them, in other words, they become more expensive. Wang Yan closed the dossier and stood up. He rubbed his temples as he looked at Wang Xian, who'd stepped past the threshold. You usually despise the Ministry of Justice's unluckiness. Why are you here today? Wang Xian replied, I've accepted an order from mother, auntie, and sister-in-law. No matter how unlucky this place is, I still have to come. Didi has ordered everyone to come home for dinner. Sister-in-law arrived in the afternoon. Mother and auntie personally took charge of the kitchen to stew soup that'll help replenish your body. Hurry up, come home with me and drink it. Wang Yan helplessly said, You brought such a lethal force, how would I dare not follow back? If I delay this, auntie and mother will chop me up and put me into the stew. Wang Xian smiled. It's good you understand. Just like this, he pulled Wang Yan out the door. The next morning, when Wang Yan just arrived at the Yamen, Physician Kong entered the Government Affairs Palace Hall with a heavy expression, locked the door, and whispered, Assistant Minister, something bad happened. The two maids from the Lu residence died in prison. End chapter. The Mystery of Zhang Gong. Chapter 20. The two dead maids were locked in a cell alone. It was tentatively determined suicide. Wang Yan immediately ordered people to the Lu residence to report this issue and inquire about the two maids' backgrounds. Then, he went to the prison and inspected the bodies and cell room. The prison guard said the two maids were completely fine when they came in. Suddenly, last night, they banged their heads against the wall and died. Wang Yan questioned whether anything strange happened last night. The prison guard knelt on the floor, trembling. He swore nothing happened. Suddenly, Wang Yang faintly felt this matter was slightly suspicious. He exited the prison and waited in the Palace Hall of Government Affairs for the constable's inquiry result. Unspecified currency. Zhang Ping had woken early and rushed to Lingjia Temple. By the time Lanju was back at his residence after morning attendance, he'd already returned from Lingjia Temple. He reported to Lanju. The abbot said Lord Lu Yuan hadn't requested a talisman. Instead, he requested for the Diamond Sutra. Lanju glanced at his empty hands. Why didn't you request for a set of sutras? Zhang Ping was silent. Lanju asked again, why aren't you answering? Zhang Ping replied, this student only knows how to answer the truth. Did I forbid you from telling you the truth? Zhang Ping raised his eyes and looked at Lanju. Lord Lan didn't have me visit the temple to request sutras, hence this student didn't do more than required. Lanju laughed. You can return to your room. Zhang Ping bowed. This student would like to request a break today. Lanju glanced at him. He knew if he told Zhang Ping even the Ministry of Justice's Assistant Minister Wang Yan would find it difficult to turn back from this case. It's impossible for a young failed examinee like you to find out the truth. Zhang Ping wouldn't listen. Hence, he lightly said, you can travel in and out of this residence as you wish. There's no need to inform me each time. Zhang Ping thanked him and returned to his room. He undressed his changshan and changed into a short garment before leaving Lanju's residence. Steward Sun knew he was questioned by Lanju last night and guessed it was due to the incident last night, so he deliberately avoided him and stopped mentioning how he'd help him get into the examination hall. Zhang Ping didn't go to the examination hall. Instead, under the scorching sun, he walked all the way to Zuyan Lane. Malian's residence had long been searched by the Ministry of Justice and all the necessary evidence had been taken away. However, Wang Yan believed this case needed careful investigation, so he still sent constables to guard the residence day and night. This way, he could simultaneously observe any signs of disturbance. The moment Zhang Ping arrived at the lane, he was immediately expelled by the constables. He was just about to make a detour through the narrow lane by the roadside before a distant voice suddenly called out, "Scholar." Zhang Ping continued walking forward. The voice called out again, "The scholar in short garments dash." Zhang Ping turned his head and saw two people sitting under a tea stall by the roadside. One was a skinny man in his 40s wearing thin, grey garments and a shabby cooling towel on his head. He had a short mustache and a pair of swift and fierce sword eyebrows, however, underneath them were a pair of fine, benevolent eyes. As he looked at Zhang Ping, he stood up. "This scholar, my young master finds you familiar. Would you please come under this stall and have a cup of tea?" Note, sword eyebrows. We commonly find this description for wuxia characters known to have a righteous and upright character. Sword eyebrows are long and broad, with a sword-like curvature. The youth sitting beside him smiled at Zhang Ping, looking as precious as jewels. Zhang Ping walked into the tea stall and cupped his hands. The grey-clothed man claimed to have the surname Su and given name Deng. He was the Qi residence's steward and the youth was the Qi residence's young master Zhu. They came to the capital to visit his uncle. Because Zhang Ping looked similar to a relative they hadn't seen for many years, they felt a strong sense of familiarity, hence they took the liberty of starting a conversation. The youth, Zhu, continued. "Moreover, I saw that although you're wearing short garments, your behavior is similar to a scholar's, so I was also a little curious. May I ask for this brother's name?" Zhang Ping replied, "Zhang Ping." Zhu asked again, "Do you have a courtesy name?" Note, courtesy name, a name bestowed to scholars when they reach adulthood for people other than family or friends to use. They're usually given by parents, teachers, or are self-selected, and mirror the meaning behind their given name. Zhang Ping answered, "Qin Yang." Zhu said, "What an upright name. I seem to have heard the two characters Zhang Ping somewhere." After a moment, he knocked his folding fan. "That's right. Before, in the tea house, I heard someone discussing an examinee in the imperial examination who was mistakenly arrested by the Ministry of Justice as a suspect. However, in the Great Hall, he solved an old, unsettled case. His name was Zhang Ping. Could he be Brother Zhang?" Zhang Ping replied, "Yes." Zhu immediately said, "I apologize for not recognizing you." Then he smiled again. "Then, I can guess why Brother Zhang's dressed up like this. He was at most 15 or 16 years old, even his eyebrows carried a childish nature. Although he conducted himself in an extremely mature manner, his smile brought out a natural youthfulness. He whispered, "You're here to investigate a case, right?" Zhang Ping stood still, his expression didn't move either. Steward Su laughed with a hee-hee and said, "Young Master Zhang doesn't need to worry. Although my young master is young, he's always liked hearing about odd cases. When we came to the capital, all we heard were strange cases. To be honest, young master brought me here deliberately, he's also very interested in this case." Zhu gently tapped his folding fan against the table's surface. "I heard the Ministry of Justice believes the criminals are a number of scholars. Could it be that Brother Zhang believes there's another story behind this?" Zhang Ping stared at the desk. "I haven't seen the crime scene, there are government workmen walled up outside the deceased's residence. Moreover, everything I know about this case was heard from others, I don't dare make a judgment." Zhu said, "That's right, when investigating a case we must use reliable evidence. I might have a way of entering that residence." Zhang Ping's eyelids moved. Zhu continued, "My uncle is friendly with the Ministry of Justice's Chief Minister Tao and Su Deng happens to know the head of the constables by the entrance. If we say Brother Zhang was the deceased's good friend and wants to go in and have a look, perhaps they'll be accommodating." Zhang Ping nodded. "Then I must trouble you." Su Deng stood up. "Young Master and Young Master Zhang, please stay here. I'll go speak with the constable's head." He hurriedly left the tea stall, Not long after, he hurried back. "We can enter." Zhang Ping followed the youth and Su Deng back to Zuying Alley. The constables by the entrance had all disappeared. Su Deng said, "I gave them money and had them leave for some tea, but we only have approximately 30 to 45 minutes. After the three of them entered the courtyard, Su Deng latched the courtyard doors. Malian had earned a lot of money these past few years. Unlike the other poor scholars who had to share accommodations with others, he rented this small courtyard for himself. However, Malian didn't hire any servants because he felt they'd be too loud and disturb him from reading and writing articles. He only allowed an old woman who also lived in the lane to come over every few days to help him wash some clothes. According to the old woman, Malian was slightly eccentric. He never allowed her into the room, only letting her wash the clothes in the courtyard, and after, she had to immediately leave. Zhang Ping observed the courtyard. The leaves and dust on the ground were freshly fallen, the grasses between the bricks were newly sprouted, there was only fresh dust on the opening panels of the doors and window gaps, no dust accumulation, and the grey brick flooring inside the house was also very clean. Within the residence, there was only one hall room, 2 side rooms, 1 kitchen, and a lavatory at one of the courtyard's corners. 2 side rooms, one was the study room and the other was the bedroom. Malian was murdered in his bedroom while he was bathing. Evidence such as the murder weapon and bathtub had all been taken away by the Ministry of Justice, the clothes inside the wardrobe and the bed had also been searched through. Chizu stood in the room with his hands behind his back whilst Su Deng looked to the sides with narrowed eyes. Zhang Ping looked around before glancing at the door latch. He walked out of the bedroom and entered the kitchen. Chizu followed behind him, only to see Zhang Ping open the cupboard and carefully observe the condiments. Unspecified currency. The head of constables reported his findings to Wang Yan. The Lu residents said the 2 dead maids were sisters and had been bought into the Lu residence at the end of last year. They still had their purchase documents. The constables used these documents to find their relatives, however, they discovered something very strange. The head of constables placed several pieces of paper before Wang Yan and mumbled, "My lord, this is what I found. My lord, please rest assured, I won't speak of this to anyone else." Wang Yan picked up the papers and schemed over them. Then, his expression drastically changed. He strode out of the Palace Hall of Government Affairs and ordered someone to prepare his sedan chair. "Send me back to the Grand Preceptor's residence." Unspecified currency. Lanju requested a vacation from Chief Minister Gong, so he left the yamen and returned to his residence early. He ordered people to arrange a jade ruyi and seal it in a brocade box. After preparing some other gifts, he changed into an ordinary robe and had someone prepare his sedan chair. Note, ruyi, a ceremonial scepter that literally means as desired. The steward asked, "Where does master want to deliver these gifts?" Lanju smiled. The Lu residence. End chapter. The Mystery of Zhang Gong. Chapter 21. Wang Yan rode his sedan chair all the way to the Grand Preceptor's residence, smoke trailing behind him. The moment he got off, he grabbed someone. "Where's Wang Xian?" The young boy servant he grabbed trembled. "Are reporting back to eldest young master, the second young master, he's at Wangxia Garden. He hadn't even finished talking before Wang Yan threw him aside and strode towards Wangxia Garden. Wang Xian was with a few friends in the garden watching foreign maidens dancing. When he caught a glimpse of Wang Yan, he immediately stood up. Brother, you solved the case already? Good timing. Wang Yan stared at him with an ashen expression. He spat out one word, "Come." Wang Xian's expression was completely blank. He put down his wine cup and followed Wang Yan outside the garden and into a soundproof room. Wang Yan latched the door. Suddenly, he raised his hand and fiercely punched Wang Xian in the face. Wang Xian was caught off guard. He staggered, almost landing on the floor. Covering his face, he asked with shock, "Brother, what are you doing?" Wang Yan sneered, his face green. "You still dare to ask me? Yesterday, were you the one who killed the two maids in the Ministry of Justice's prison? Were you the one playing ghost in the Lu residence? The evidence has already been placed on the Ministry of Justice's desk. You're going to be sleeping in the cells tonight." Wang Xian stood there, dazed, for a moment. Then he cried out aggrievedly, "Brother, it wasn't me." Wang Yan narrowed his eyes. "It wasn't you? The procuress accepted money and sold a singer from the brothel into the Lu family as a woman from a respectable family. Were you not the one who made the household registration? Were you not the one who paid money to hire fake parents? Were you not the one who gave money to, 1. Madame Tang from Yanyan brothel? Are you not the master of the ghost market outside the capital? Unspecified currency. Lanju's sedan chair stopped outside the Lu residence's back door. The young boy servant reported to the guards. The guards were taken aback for a moment before they rushed into the residence. After a while, Lu Yuan came out. Lanju stepped off his sedan chair and raised his sleeves. "Lord Lu." Lu Yuan said, "Why is brother-in-law acting so distant? We're one family. It's been many years since father has passed away and brother-in-law never visits. I've always felt guilty. Since you finally came today, come in for some tea. When Hui'er is picked up, let's have a meal as a family." Lanju responded, "No need. Madame Lu once made a pledge that I shall never take a single step into the Lu residence. Since the Grand Tutor has departed this mortal coil, we must further respect the wishes of the deceased. I came today to send a congratulatory gift in advance. Hui'er has always adored his Tung Ai Biao Ge. After the 2. Palace examination, it's possible the top scorer is from the Lu family again. Just take this as Hui'er's gift. I hope you won't decline it." A servant who accompanied him held up the gift box with both hands. Lu Yuan said, "Since it's for Tung Ai, then as his uncle I won't decline it." He had someone accept the gift box before speaking again. "If your kind words are right, then we'll set up a banquet as we wait for the list to be posted. Recently, our residence has been very restless, so it's inconvenient for Hui'er to come over and play. His aunt has been terribly concerned." Lanju said, "Hui'er experienced a fright and would often have nightmares. Every time I see him I'll be reminded of his mother. Since young, he had no mother. I'm always busy with official businesses, so there are many times I've been negligent towards him. I always feel I've let them down. He's more intimate with his maternal grandmother's family, so I thank Lord Lu for considering your sister's feelings and taking care of him. But now he's getting older and needs to study hard. It may be inconvenient for him to come again in the future." Lu Yuan's expression changed. How could brother-in-law say that? Since Hui'er like his Tung Ai Biao Ge, then just let Tung Ai help him with his studies. Lanju sighed with a smile and stopped him. Although Hui'er resembles his mother, he's still a child of the Lan family. It's unreasonable for him to continue disturbing his maternal grandmother's family. I'm also here to deliver these gifts as a way of thanking Lord Lu for your love and care towards Hui'er these few years. I'm untalented and my reputation in the imperial court isn't the best either, so I'm extremely grateful for eldest brother-in-law's unwavering affection towards Hui'er. I have to express my thanks." Lanju always believed that one should never hold on to two things in life, earnestness and anger. But this time, he was truly angry. He'd always been doubtful. Lan Hui kept on insisting a ghost was haunting him, meaning he didn't just hear about a ghost, rather, he must have truly seen something horrifying. Lu Yuan received Lu Xian's teachings. How could he possibly believe in rumors about the supernatural? After Zhang Ping went to Lingjia Temple and came back reporting Lu Yuan requested a set of diamond sutras, Lanju was completely certain Lu Yuan already knew who the ghost in this so-called haunted Lu residence was. Moreover, it was most likely someone from the Wang family, which was why Lu Yuan reported this case to the Ministry of Justice and deliberately had Wang Yan investigate it. Lan Hui being haunted by a ghost and Lan Ju coincidentally encountering Lu Yuan were all just part of a scheme to confuse people. Lan Ju didn't mind being used as a mouthpiece for Lu Yuan to spread false information to Wang Yan, however, using Lan Hui as a chess piece? Deliberately making a child think they're being haunted and forcing them to see a terrible, sanguinary situation? Lan Ju couldn't stand it. The so-called nobility, the so-called Lu residents, the so-called mainstay, all of these were part of a staged scheme, presenting how one cannot be swayed even by personal considerations. They were nothing. Lan Ju smiled and bowed towards Lu Yuan before leaving in his sedan chair. Unspecified currency. Wang Xian clutched Wang Yan's sleeve cuff and tried to defend himself. Everything else was my doing, but I definitely didn't kill anyone. I went to see brother last night. I can't possibly be so stupid as to silence someone at that time. That fake Confucius Lu is always trying to plot against father. Someone set up that market and just had me register my name on it, yet he bit into it, unwilling to let go and even wanted to use this against father. He didn't even think about his own wrongdoings. At first, I wanted to help dad by arranging 2 spies in the Lu residence, then have them scare him a little. It must be Lu Yuan who found out about these 2 maids' backgrounds and killed them, framing me along the way. It really wasn't me. If I really did it, I wouldn't dare not confess. Veins twitched on Wang Yan's forehead. Yes, what don't you dare? You have the guts but no brain. Who needs you to do these kinds of things? You gave Lu Yuan the opportunity to checkmate you, he only needed to wait and watch the show. Go pack your clothes and prepare to sit in prison. Wang Xian stared at Wang Yan. Brother, it can't be that you want to learn from Lu and be an upright official by placing righteousness before family or something, right? You can't be serious about arresting your own younger brother, right? I truly didn't kill them, you arresting me is a miscarriage of justice. Wang Yan sneered. How about you find evidence to prove it wasn't you? With just a verbal statement and no proof, other than me, who's going to believe you? Do you know the term suspect? Don't you know that as long as you're a suspect, you have to stay in prison? Wang Xian clutched Wang Yan's sleeve. Brother, don't try to scare me, father won't just watch me get arrested. I admit I was wrong, I was possessed and thought Malian's stratagem was good, so I arranged spies in the Lu residence. I used his stratagem again to pretend to be a ghost, but then he unexpectedly died and those 2 women insisted it was a ghost's doing, that he was killed by a ghost, and they didn't want to do it anymore. My servants were ignorant, then, Grandma Tang began pestering me, otherwise, nobody would be able to find any evidence I was involved in this at all. As he listened, Wang Yan's brows gradually began knitting together. Malian. Unspecified currency. Zhang Ping came out from Malian's kitchen and went into the study again. Su Deng just happened to be carefully knocking against the study room's walls and floor tiles. Suddenly, his hand paused, he lifted a floor tile, exposing a secret compartment. Chizu, who was standing aside with his hands behind his back, also revealed an expression of surprise. He walked to the secret compartment. Su Deng took out a stack of paper from within. They were all 3 silver banknotes and, altogether, worth not little. Su Deng said, scholars who write plays aren't able to receive such high remunerations. If we investigate the money farm, we should be able to find the background behind these silver banknotes. Chizu nodded. That's right. He glanced at Zhang Ping, yet Zhang Ping was staring at something in deep contemplation. It was an ordinary-looking incense burner placed on a side table leaning against a white wall. Zhang Ping rubbed the incense ash between his fingers and sniffed it. This wasn't an incense burner for fragrance incense, but an incense burner for joss sticks when one's paying their respects. On the white wall, directly facing the incense burner, hung a scroll of 4 large, regular scripted words, Study diligently, train hard. They were square-shaped, so it's unclear who wrote them. Who was Molly An paying respects to, and why didn't he dare let others know? Unspecified currency. Wang Yan returned to the Ministry of Justice and sat behind his table, feeling extremely irritable. It was unclear whether the two maids were silenced by Wang Xian or Lu Yuan's underlings, but it appeared the Wang family wasn't able to get away from trouble this time. Since Tao Zhoufeng was unable to sit in his position for long and the next ascension to chief minister was just around the corner, it was possible Molly An's murder, this entire case, was directed against him, Wang Yan. Wang Yan fiercely flipped open the dossiers. Investigate. He had to continue checking. The more violent the undercurrents surge, the more determined he was to investigate. He had to see the ending to this play. The sound of hasty footsteps outside gradually neared from afar. When Physician Kong stepped over the threshold, his tone changed and his face seemed to glow red with agitation. Assistant Minister, the Ministry of Revenue just sent us an urgent letter, this case is becoming far too plightful. Wang Yan opened the document handed to him and was taken aback once again. Just when he thought if the culprit wasn't A Xian's underlings it had to be Lu Yuan's underlings, that everything from before was just a trick, the thing before him confirmed his very first speculation about the case. Molly An and Ma Hong were brothers while Chen Zhou shared the same father but a different mother from Chen Zishang. End chapter.